All right, we're going. David, thank you for joining me, man.
Yes, glad to be here.
So you run an MSP.
Yes, Xenix Technology Solutions. We're out of Georgia, kind of all over Georgia, but
Okay.
It originally started as I was a MSP consultant and security consultant for a couple of years, and I guess I made the transition to the traditional MSP services last December or the end of November.
Okay.
So,
And you said your company name is Xenix?
Zennux Technology.
So what does that mean?
So, you know what? It was a play on one. The domain was available, and it was a play on Linux. That was my background. I was I was a Linux administrator or BSD administrator a long time ago, and then I do when I'm not doing IT work, I just do mindful meditation type seminars. So it's the Zen and the Linux. So
I like it.
Yeah,
it's a little. You got a little portmanteau going on.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, very cool. So before we started, you and I were talking about how you've been watching my videos for ages, and you said, well, what's the last one you did? And I told you the last one I recorded, which isn't actually the last one I recorded. It's the last one I got up online, is George Bardisi. I basically kind of started over, if you will. All the old videos are still up, but I'm kind of, I turned into the butterfly, I went in my cocoon for 8 months and I'm starting over. So I literally, they're called like number 1, Jeff Ferris from Cloud Radio, number 2, 3. So George is number 4. So I'm numbering all of these episodes that I record with people. And, George, I learn something new every time I talk to that guy, man. He's a really down to earth guy. He's really smart, and his product is just really cool.
Yeah. I would say 3 weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, I had talked to, I can't remember his name, but we went over the product a little bit, and I was very impressed with it, especially from the MSP perspective, the solution. So that's something hopefully pick up today. I have a phone call, and
So BVoIP is a much different animal than like all the other VoIP companies out there for MSPs, mainly because you're not selling voice, you're selling software.
That's right. Yeah.
And then because you're selling software, you don't have to worry about, the taxes and all the other stuff that comes with being basically turning yourself into a telecom company. So that's the one thing that's, really intriguing about BVoIP. The other thing is just all the integrations, man. Like, even if you never resell it to a customer, David, are you using ConnectWise, Autotask?
Yeah, ConnectWise. And I was really impressed with that type of the integration they had there and the functionality. It's like, well, definitely would implement it in-house first thing.
Yeah. So yeah, even if you never resell it, just having it for yourself is super cool. And then he was telling me, like, well, for the guys who are all about going all in on Microsoft, because the Microsoft 365 and Teams Voice, or whatever they're calling it, right? So Teams now offers the VoIP phone stuff. So he actually has a way to integrate BVoIP with Teams Voice, so that way you can still use Teams as your unified communications platform, but then you can still get those screen
pop-ups to your PBX
from your PBX. That way it still integrates with ConnectWise and all that other cool stuff. So it's kind of like the win-win.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Teams, and I was. When it first came out, I was like, Slack.
I hated it, man.
I did, but I've actually grown to like it a lot. And I actually did a project where we integrated 3CX with Teams.
Nice.
And it worked beautifully. But Yeah,
I gotta say, I hated it when it came out, and I don't even know that I hate it now, but now it's there's a guy, Brian. We tease Brian, but I love Brian, man. He's a really great guy, but he is a huge proponent of Teams, and now I'm like I'm on G Suite just because Brian won't stop talking about, like, the first rule of Fight Club is to not talk about
Fight Club. Yeah.
The first rule of Microsoft is to never shut up about Microsoft. That's got to be it. So because he's such a big proponent of Teams, I'm like, screw it, I'm going G Suite. So,
I tell you what happened.
He's like, you should get Teams Voice, man. I'm like, nope, no, I'm going all in on Google Voice. You've done it.
A lot of small business clients are on Office 365. Well, you can set it up where your two tenants are trusted, and you could chat between the teams of other clients. Big mistake. Because then they start requesting through Teams and everything else. But it is a neat feature there. Just now you have to have somebody to man the damn Teams portal or redirect them. But
So what are your thoughts on, did you get the email from Microsoft that they're rebranding some things?
For the to the Microsoft 365?
Yeah, so they're rebranding all of the Office 365 stuff as Microsoft 365 stuff. Which I think this is going to be good, but at the same time, you haven't had stuff around long enough for people to figure out what it's called already, and you're changing the names on us again.
The admin portal. I mean, any of those admin portals, they change, every month and a half as they move those things around. I think it's going to be good. What it might be limiting is, a lot of, at least I do with some things, I package the license along with Office security products that share a web or something like that. You know what I mean? We kind of bundle it together. I don't know. I have to do the numbers and see if it's even, you don't want to charge them $70 a mailbox when it's all said and done, but see how it's going to work out. But
yeah, well, the cool thing is, I think with like Office 365 Business Essentials, that is a mouthful. So Microsoft 365 Business Basic, that's easier. That's easier to understand. So the fact that now so they got basic, standard, premium, and premium is the Microsoft 365 Business. So they did make it a little easier by combining them, but you're right. Like even the admin portals, and they have so many different portals. They've got the admin portal,
the partner,
and then we won't even go to the partner portal, and then we'll come back to the partner portal. But here, I'm going to fix my headspace so that way it's kind of the same height as you. That way, because I'm weird. All right, so there's the compliance portal. Like there's all these other portals that people like forget because some people just aren't doing it right. Let's be honest. Some people just aren't doing it right. So and then there's all the admin portals for the individual things because they still have to have the Exchange admin portal because you can't admin all the things from the Office 365 admin portal.
Or 2 to 3 hours for it to kick in once you make the change to the admin.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Kills me with
so
that.
Frustrating. So that's why I really enjoy, and I don't even know if it's around anymore. It's this Windows app I bought. It was like some Office 365 admin app that I purchased.
Was it where you can do it was almost like a desktop app where you can do basic admin features that were in for Office 365?
Oh, it was way more than basic, man. So you would sign in as your partner, as yourself.
Uh-huh.
And then what you would do is you would have to make sure that all of your clients had given your partner delegated access.
Yeah.
And then because of that, now you just log in as one user and you can admin all of your clients. So you could select XYZ company and you can say, all right, I'm going to add 6 users, remove 3, add some more licensing. I'm going to change the password expiration period. I'm going to convert a couple mailboxes to shared mailboxes. Yeah. Like, it was so cool, man. And I don't even know. I think for some reason I feel like they stopped developing it.
I did some work for an IT company, and one of the guys I think had that. And I ever since then I've been trying to Google and find the name of it or something, and I never could. So if you remember it, it's still available. Definitely let me know.
I'm gonna Google it while we sit here and talk. I am determined. And
I started a PowerShell thing, but then I got about halfway through and lost interest. So.
Yeah, this is harder than I suspected because I think it's just gone. It's just gone.
Microsoft probably bought it.
Yeah, I don't know. So, if I was as big as Joe Rogan, I'd have a Jamie. I'd have my very own Jamie, and I'd have that guy doing all this Google searching for me. Right. But I'm not, so I can't.
I tell you what, you'll get there, man. You'll get there. I have faith.
I think it'll be hard to get there because I'm trying to make this for IT guys. He's for everyone. Like we like watching him. Gym people like watching him. Finance guys like watching him because he appeals to everyone. And I mean, I'd like to. I think I'm an appealing person. Darn it, but I'm not. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to actually talk tech and business with IT people. Yeah. So
I've thought it was just. It's been great. I think what's the only other one I've really, what's the guy from Lawrence?
Tom Lawrence. Yeah, he's a great guy, man.
Yeah, I love his stuff too. But I think it's you do a good job of what you're doing.
The thing that I wish I could do as well as Tom Lawrence is he just has some really fantastic equipment.
Yeah.
He's got a room designed for this. I'm in kind of a public space, so to speak, in my house. So I've got the blinds are kind of open. I'm gonna see if I can maybe get those closed because they're putting so much light on me.
Yeah.
And I forget to do some of these things because it's a public room and it needs to be enjoyable for the rest of my family too. But at the same see how much my lighting changed just by closing those.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then if we turn off the light in the room, it gets even better. It's weird. The more lights you have off in the room, the better the lighting is on camera. Which is weird because you think camera it'll have a better image if you've got better lighting. But that's not the case in this room because the room's just so it's got a skylight, so I just got so much light coming in this room already. I need to reduce the light.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I can't find this app, and I truly think it's because it's either gone or sold.
Yeah, well, that's a shame, and that's kind of been a headache. Is that it would? I wonder if I can get a hold of that guy that used to use it, the IT company I'll do some work for him. Most 90% of the chance it's the same app. But
See, there we go. The light turned off for the room,
Yeah,
and now I've got now I've got like dynamic shadows going on, and it's just a much better look. It's so weird how this stuff works, man. It's so weird.
I did not realize how much went into that type of stuff until I did church, the audiovisual for church, and it was like, oh my goodness.
So I took a volunteer position with my church. I am the tech director. So I am in charge of audio, video, lighting, the website. We just started a new giving app. So like we're migrating from for those of you that are church people, we're migrating from Easy Tithe to PushPay. And PushPay is actually going to make an app for my church. So you'll be able to like go to the app store, you'll be able to download an app. It'll say my church made it. Like it'll be really cool.
Cool, yeah.
So like I'm really excited about that. And then
it's hard work. It
is, man. I probably do 25 hours a week for the church, and that's a volunteer position. And then I've got RocketMSP, so that has like 3 levels, so to speak. So I started these videos back up. So I'll call it the free tier, right? So I've got these videos that I'm doing, and like yesterday I recorded 2. So like I'm all in, guys. Today I'm recording just this one. Next week, the only day I don't have one is Good Friday. So I've got these, and then I've got like a membership for RocketMSP, which I think at one time you were a member, Dave. Do you prefer Dave, David?
Go by David.
Okay. So at one point you were a member, David, and then so that there's like the basic, and that has like a membership. There's like a community. So I've got like an online forum. I upload new documents every month, and then we have like a monthly get together where we just get together and talk about something to better your business. Last month I showed everyone, here's all the things you need to be doing to fix the SEO on your website. So for the guys that are like me, who are just smart enough to be able to do their website or better, the guys that actually do website design, I actually do web design, and do the website stuff, but maybe just got frustrated when they were working on their own and threw in the towel when it was good enough. I showed them how to do the SEO stuff. And then there's the premium tier where every week we get together and we do like a peer group, and I sit down with people, we talk about wins, challenges, and then I give them some homework. And so I'd say with RocketMSP, I'm probably doing another 40-ish hours of work a week. And then I also run an MSP. And thankfully that's on autopilot. My MSP is small. I let it shrink because I really enjoy what I'm doing with RocketMSP more. So I might do an hour, 2 hours a week on the MSP. But still, I'm doing 60, 70 hours a week of work.
Yeah.
And then my wife's always mad at me because I'm always tired, which I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I did it to myself.
I think anybody who's been in managed services long enough has gotten that you work too much or you work too late or that.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to joke with some of the younger guys I work with. I said, you can keep doing this about 5 years, and this just seems to be the average where people might leave, go out of managed services, and it's usually because they're trying not to get divorced. But no. I have to. I've got all these little side projects going on, and I always overwhelm myself with things. But I think now with what's going on in the world with the COVID-19, I'm going to try to focus in. Like, well, we were talking about I was going to do a local meetup for small business owners for them to come in and ask anything from, all right, I want to have this goal here, but how do I get there with technology? Or, hey, my server's this much a month, am I getting screwed or not? Things like that. A form where they could ask that. And then I think I'm going to do that, bring that in virtual, maybe to a Zoom type setting. So
good.
If anybody out there is interested, and I'd like to have, subject matter experts at times and different things like that.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. You want to have something where people local to you, or potential like prospects or leads, can come and ask you questions, and you can educate them on if they're doing it right. Basically.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And the reason I did that is because I found my clients are all over. They're not really localized. So I've got clients in Texas, California, Seattle, Georgia, here where I'm at. A lot of times when I come in, and you might have seen it too, they've been sold something that they don't need, or they didn't know. They didn't know
and that's
options
the worst.
out there. Yeah, and it's try somewhere that you can bring the small business community in. That there's no agenda there. That they can get honest feedback on technology and how to implement different solutions and what their options are there. So
the thing I'll say is doing a virtual meeting, use Zoom and invite people in and educate them and help them understand if their stuff is working, or if they have the right thing, or all that. Like that's a great idea. You should absolutely move forward with it. It needs to be consistent. You need to if you're going to do it weekly or monthly, it always needs to happen. It always needs to be on the same time. It needs to be on a schedule. I'll say that it may be difficult for you to get other IT guys on with you, only because it's one thing for me to bring IT guys on because I don't feel like we're competing.
Yeah.
And it's because we're not. I'm just hosting a video where we talk about important things. But for you, you're actually bringing on competitors, we'll call them. They might not be local to you, but you are bringing on competitors to assist you with things. And basically, you're saying you want to get some experts.
And then there is the chance that they would go to them or undercut and all that stuff.
Well, not just that, but what is that? So there's always that two sides to the coin, right? So one, it's great because you're showing people, hey, you know what? I have a great network of experts. So even if I'm not able to do something, I know someone that can, and I'm going to get it done for you no matter what. But on the flip side, well, how if you don't know this, like what the hell do you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I always and I think I sometimes psych myself out with that stuff, and that's why sometimes sometimes I'm just like, well, maybe I shouldn't do this because I get that like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the smartest guy. Like, hold on. I'm not saying I'm an idiot, okay? I just know I'm not the smartest.
Because you know everything about anything. If I know it all about anything, and one, I'm pushed off because you're not going to learn from anybody that says that they stop learning then. But also they're full of shit. Nobody knows everything about everything. So
right. And that's why I love bringing in just really intelligent people. Like, I brought Zach Johnson from Aero CMS. You've probably seen him on a few of my videos. Yeah. I call him my ancient alien security nut. If he had hair, it would be long hair and it would never be brushed and it would just be like that guy on Ancient Aliens, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I think of Zach as. And I just love bringing him on because he is a freaking wizard when it comes to security. And he really does make me feel like an idiot, because I would say I understand each of the words individually, but once you start putting them all together and combining them, that's when he loses me.
Yeah. Yes. No, back to that, I tell you what, I will probably bounce stuff off you and then some of your viewers. What I somehow work out some type of format, and I definitely understand what you're saying there, where if I have to go to somebody for information, why would they trust me? But I was doing it more, and so if, I don't know, I think that there might be a way to do it. Like most of my clients now are other MSPs that, people that specialize in pen testing or different areas like they're maybe bringing them in.
So you're not selling to the mom pop shops or to the SMBs. You're selling to other MSPs.
Well, for the most part. Yeah, for the most part, I do have a small business manager. So I did MSP work for 16 years, small and large managed services, and then I went into consulting, and the consulting work was mostly for other managed service providers, and that ranged from tier 3 projects that went offload to a lot of people that start MSPs don't know, how do you run a help desk efficiently, or how do you how is the triage of tickets supposed to work? How is the NOC supposed to work, and how do you leverage automation? Things like that. Even helping people build service plans and what their offerings. And I did that for about a year and a half. And last November, I had like 6 businesses that wanted me to take over their services. So I started kind of transitioning away from purely consulting to offering them more managed clients. But a lot of even my current opportunities now are smaller MSPs that want to outsource either their not work, or they don't want to. What I found is a lot of companies don't want to spend the money and the payroll on a tier 3 guy that's going to eventually leave for more money. So why not just outsource the project work or something? So that's kind of been my bread and butter here lately, where it's kind of going. But
so, how is business right now with coronavirus?
It is so. I've got I got 2 IT companies in Seattle that are in the Seattle area that are being hit hard. But they're all locked down, and one of them is got a lot of projects that backed up that he's dumping to me that's gave me work, so it's been really good. But like my local clients here in Georgia, everything's almost like a standstill. Everybody's kind of waiting to see, what happens or what unfolds here, I guess, in the next couple of months, or what. I feel like there's a lot of apprehension. The salespeople have not stopped calling for sure, but it's kind of where I'm at, and I've started coming up with new ideas. I think you're going to have to, I think our world's changed completely with this.
Do you think that the changes are going to be permanent?
I think the longer that this goes on without a vaccine or something like that, yeah. You're looking at something that the rate of infections, 1 to 4. Yes, it's not, the mortality is not, it's 3 to 8% like that. But you have a sick workforce.
Is the mortality rate that high now?
I think it depends on the area where you're at, the more congested areas. And but say everybody was, there was no deaths in it, and you're looking at people that are sick for 14 to something days, that's going to affect the economy. And then my wife was an esthetician. that, which, is she did laser beauty stuff or whatever up in Atlanta. That's until they have a vaccine or something, that might go away. That might not be a profession here for a little while, at least in that setting, in an open setting in a spa. I don't know when they might open that back up.
So I just open it up. I see that in the U.S., there are now over 6,000 deaths. There are over 245,000 confirmed cases. That's a lot.
It is a lot. And this is season 1, so.
This is one of those shows that I want to get canceled after season 1.
That's right. It's almost like I keep waking up. It's so eerie, like it's a movie. It's just kind of waiting. And here in Georgia, where you're just now, is starting to pick up, and the governor just shut it down, I think, today as far as the state. But as I talk to people in Texas and California and all that, it's IT, we can work remotely and everything like that, but we support small businesses. Well, if small businesses are not opening and spending money, that it will affect us. So I'm like everybody else that kind of look at other options to make money, or at least keep them open to see how things go. So, by any means, I will never stop IT work. Just I'll kind of see where the work goes or what people are needing and adapt to that.
So I remember maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I saw something online, and I do not believe it. Okay, I just thought it was really interesting that people are this crazy. That I saw someone say coronavirus isn't real. It was all made up, and what you're going to see is it's all connected to like Epstein and Weinstein.
Okay.
And like all those CEOs that stepped down from their companies, like I think Bill Gates just stepped down finally. And
they put this in play because they had the vaccine that was paid for. And
no, even worse. It's saying that Weinstein he got a deal and he implicated them all in this huge ring of debauchery, and it's just, it sounds batshit crazy, David. Yeah. It does. And like you see, like more and more people are getting infected with this. Now I'm starting to know people that know people.
Yeah.
Have gotten tested positive. I don't know anyone yet. Let me double check with my wife. Do I know anyone yet? I don't know anyone yet that has tested positive for coronavirus. I do have a buddy who thinks he had it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. He went on a cruise. He went on a cruise with his family, and when he got back from his cruise, like he was in the airport, and he was just miserable.
Yeah.
Like absolutely miserable. He said he wanted to die miserable. And so he ended up having to spend like $150 to go get a hotel, because they had like an 18-hour layover or something like that. Or maybe not that long, but it was like they had to disembark from the ship at like by 9 a.m, and then their flight wasn't until like 11 at night because it was a red eye. So it was a long time. So I was wrong when I said 18, but it was a long time, So it was an all day kind of thing. The time that you're supposed to be awake, he did not want to be awake. Yeah. And he said if we would have stayed in the airport, they probably would not have like let me fly.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got to get out of here. So they went. He said it was the most expensive nap he's ever taken. And then you think about, there's like places in California and New York, don't they have those weird like oxygen pods for people to take naps in?
Oh yeah. They got
So I bet that is not the most expensive nap available. But that's his most expensive nap he's taken.
You bring up a good point, though, about the people. I think if anything, what probably scares me is that say you lock people down 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then they come out and they've lost everything they've worked for their whole life. People have a tendency to get a little crazy and a little tribal and a little stressed out. And I hope it doesn't. I'm wrong, but that to me could be one of the scarier things is that you see people getting desperate. Maybe that's a doomsday scenario, but I don't know. I think this as long as this keeps going on, hopefully we get some type of. I think one thing will happen is as this goes on, the doctors will develop a better protocol to treating any type of condition. So I don't know. I think it's here to stay for a while, and we just have to adapt around it.
So I have a buddy who is a financial advisor. His name's Justin. If anyone wants a financial advisor, I don't know what states he operates in other than Ohio, but he's a great guy. He also has another business. It's dead. Like that business, he still has the business and he'll probably start it up again, but like there's no work going on with it, understandably.
Yeah.
It's a tree business. Like they go out and tear down trees, so he basically has nothing going on there, but financial, he said he's keeping pretty busy with that. There's a lot of people freaking out, but he's like, man, this is amazing. He's like, he and his wife, they're buying up stock as everything drops lower and lower. He's like, man, everything's at such a discount. This is great. We've been buying Microsoft, Amazon, companies that 2 months ago were off the radar because of how expensive they were. Now I just keep buying more. And so, I mean, that's great that he is smart enough to be doing this because he is trying to, have the forethought, But then there's also the fear that, what if some of these companies don't make it?
Yeah.
Like Microsoft and Amazon are probably safe. Apple is definitely safe with all the reserve cash they have.
Yep.
Apple may never open the stores up again. You know what I mean? Like there are things that are going to change.
Waffle House has closed, 1,500 Waffle House or some crazy amount. Just like this hadn't been, this is a month and a half. Doesn't take for economic stuff. It doesn't take long to start really affecting things. So,
well, if you think, most small business owners kind of still live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have savings, and if this goes on too long to where they don't have customers or revenue, they're going to have to go find jobs. And some of them have expenses still. Like, it's one thing to work out of your home and maybe the only expenses you have are like your PSA, RMM type stuff. Yep. But then there's the companies where, they've got an office or a storefront that they're renting.
Payroll. They got, use payroll. Yeah. They've got the electric bill at the office. You're exactly right. I tell you what, I got a call yesterday, and it kind of irked me. I don't know if I'll say it was Market Authority. They do sales and things like that for MSPs and do this for the websites and they generate leads. And anyways, I was talking to her and she was going over the pricing. I really wasn't listening too much because I'm not in the market for it. But and one of their packages was like $700 a month. And I was like, well, with everything going on right now, are y'all lowering any type of package? What? She was like, do you expect us to work for free? And I said, hold on. That's not what I said. I just saying, is there any type of, discount maybe to help some people out here. And she took it as like, I was asking if they were going to do stuff for free for them. I said, no, I understand that. I said, but if there was any time to help somebody, if you could, it would be during the damn national pandemic.
Right.
And then don't make it like somebody's getting a handout. Do you know what I mean? I said,
and that's
this when this clears up. And
yeah, and that's really frustrating, man. Like some companies are being like sharks right now, and
30% up with some of their stuff. And I don't know if that was true that I read, but
who's this?
Continuum.
Continuum. Are you saying that their prices or they're just up on usage?
One of the MSP owners I work with sent me something that had where Continuum. He was notified by them that one of their packages. I'm not a Continuum user, but one of their packages was going up by 30%, and this was
that's insane. Although I mean, speculation. It could just simply be that was decided before this happened. You know. When was it announced that they got purchased?
That was, let's see, I had just re-upped on my Automate licensing mid-February.
Okay. So, I mean, you got to think there are some people that say this is kind of status quo for some venture companies.
I tell you what, and ConnectWise is one that I do consulting for ConnectWise at times. I mean, I know these people, but some of their pricing stuff really irks me. And if I see companies that, you know, if something works, one thing, but if they're blatantly going up on it, I'm not going to use them anymore. I'll find another solution. I don't care how long I've been with them.
How long have you been with ConnectWise?
Oh, let's see. I've probably put this way. I've been through the onboarding 6 times with different companies over my whole career. So I've been using it since when did LabTech move? LabTech was in Toledo and and I was with LabTech then. And
the good old days.
Yes. What was his name that coded LabTech? Used to run the website Lipstick on a Pig. But yeah, so it's been 2005, 6, somewhere around there, maybe. So when they first came out, or when they first purchased LabTech. So it's been a while. I've also worked with Autotask. One of my old bosses is their VP of networking over there at Datto. So I have no problem switching. I don't,
don't want to.
Don't want to. That's what I know. But also you can't get support there from anybody anymore. So
over ConnectWise.
Yes. Now, if you want to buy something, you'll get 20 calls.
Well, is it? Are you saying right now, like at this current moment in time, or for the past months or years?
Oh, I went from when I was doing the MSP consulting, it was Datto and Autotask. So I went back to ConnectWise when I started Xenix during December. And the package they gave me, they didn't do the onboarding thing, but the package they gave me was the chat support and then so many consulting hours. Chat support's completely useless. It's just, have you read this KB article? You read this KB article, create a ticket, and then you're lucky if you hear somebody in 5 days. So
I got to say, though, that's what a lot of them do now.
Yeah.
And I don't think if we look at this from the other side of it, that is also what we are supposed to be doing to our customers. We're supposed to be building KB articles that every time we solve a new problem, we build a KB article that we have the ability to send that to a client and say, check this out.
No, that is right. I think where my frustration is that all my issues are still from onboarding. They didn't onboard me right. They didn't create the right. And so it's been going on 4 months now. And like,
that's a
I
problem.
didn't have a way to pay them for a good 3 months because they didn't have they have a website login that you can e-pay. That never worked, and I couldn't get anybody to assist me.
Wow, that's a problem when you can't get a company to let you pay them.
Yeah, and they're like, it's merger acquisitions, and I was like, I get it, but also I have a business to run. And I'm spending a lot of money here. I like to get this fixed so I can use the product properly. So,
well, I gotta say that's really unfortunate, David. But I just wish I could fix it for people, like it just.
I will say it has done is for the most part ironed out.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's very good. So you don't think life is ever going to be the same ever again?
I don't. I think it's going to be different. I think the whole
good different.
It could be. I think there's positive in all of it, but I think economically it's going to be a little bit difficult, and the difference is going to be made out on how long this goes around. We don't have a vaccine, or
it's going to be months before we have a vaccine.
Yeah, and then this is kind of season one. I think this is going to be kind of seasonal type deal, and then next year I think if we don't have a vaccine, people will prepare a little bit better and everything else. But you figure if there's not, how would the government open up free travel to China? And you know what I mean?
Well, I think we can't even think about how's the government going to open up travel to China. We still have to figure out how's the government going to open up the economy.
Yeah.
How's the government going to open up businesses again?
Yes.
My state Governor DeWine has been fantastic, and no matter what side of the aisle you stand or sit on, DeWine, I think, has handled this incredibly well. He has been kind of in front of this, so to speak, to where he's going on TV every day, having press conferences. He has been very proactive with, stay-at-home orders and shutting down schools, and he did things early on. President Trump came on last week, and I know he really wanted to have things opened up by Easter, and I think he was just trying to fool himself into thinking everything could be okay. And unfortunately, he learned that it's not going to be okay. And he had advisors telling him that from day one. It is not going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And I think he knew it all along, but he just didn't want to believe it. He wanted to have that hope that
it wouldn't. Yeah. It'll fan out. It wouldn't spread. Yeah, I agree. I agree too.
So yeah, he did that, and he finally came out last week and said, you know what, I'm going to say we need to keep social distancing going through April. And then a couple days later, DeWine comes out and says we're doing stay-at-home order through April. And I believe that he only extended the schools being closed through April. However, our schools are going to do like the Google Classroom thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the schools in Northeast Ohio are on Google and Chromebooks and all that. I think that's probably common with a lot of schools.
Oh, yeah.
Just because Chromebooks are way cheaper than iPads.
Yeah, I had 2 private schools that I did work for, and they were all Chromebooks, Chromepads.
Did you Google, say Chromepads?
The Chromebooks and the what are the meeting boxes, the Google Hangout boxes that
See, I'm not an Android guy. I'm not a Google guy. So
I'm
you said ChromePad, and my mind literally just exploded.
let's see, Chrome.
I'm now Googling ChromePad. There are Chromebook tablets.
Yeah, they had those, but they used to have these. There were media conferencing little pucks. Hell, they had i7 processors in them. They were nothing but a kiosk for Google Hangouts that you would put throughout school.
Well, so here's Google's Chromebook site.
Yeah.
And I mean, I knew they had the laptops, and I knew that they had the more expensive, I'll call them the 2-in-1s.
You know, I
didn't realize they had the
OS when it came out. But I've kind of, for internet surfing and some basic stuff, it's in the price. Nothing wrong with it.
It is a really great price,
Yeah.
And I didn't realize Samsung made a Galaxy Chromebook.
I didn't either. Wow.
And it's going to be sharp. Again, I'm an Apple guy, So
I am too. People are like, my background, security and everything else, and I am a Linux guy. Yes, I am, but I love my Mac. I love my iPhone. If I need to, spin up anything, I put VMware on there, and I have a Windows desktop if I need it.
So let's talk about Apple for a minute. Mm-hmm. Let's go to apple.com here too. Why not? So let's I've
got one. I have no idea.
So first of all, did you take a look at the iPad Pro, the new one they launched?
Briefly, somebody has showed me something, but I haven't, not in detail, but I did see it. So is that a keyboard?
It is, man. So it's still separate. So let's just back up a second. Are you familiar with the newer iPad Pros at all?
Yes.
Even the 2018 model. So they had a keyboard case for it.
Yeah.
So they redid the keyboard case for it. The new keyboard case still has that magnetic smart connector. You'll see now it's got this little USB-C port here. But wait, there's more. So they've got the 2-camera thing like the 11s, not the Pros. But then this here is, oh gosh, what did they call that thing? A LiDAR, I think they said it is. Yeah. So, I mean, I think I've only gotten pulled over thanks to LiDAR. Otherwise, I have no idea what it's capable of. But this is supposedly LiDAR is going to make everything super awesome. But wait, there's more. Same pencil. With the new, they say yes, it floats. So with the new keyboard, it's now, I guess, like a hinge. Whereas before it was like you've got 2 places. In fact, here on the keyboard here, there's these 2 notches, and these 2 notches are where the iPad rests. So you've got 2 viewing angles, and if one of them sucks, hopefully the other one doesn't, because those are your 2 options.
What's the price tag on that thing?
A lot-ish.
I like it.
Yeah, and then check this out.
It's got
It's got a trackpad on the new keyboard, man. Dude, the new keyboard case is $350 for a keyboard case.
That is my only thinking with some of that stuff.
You can buy a Chromebook for the price you can buy the iPad's keyboard.
The last big tablet purchase, I got a Surface Pro, And to be honest with you, I absolutely love that. With especially with Visio drawings, I can plug it up and on site. I can do a lot of on site stuff with it, as long as you get the version that one has enough RAM in it, and you get it where it has the full OS with not the I don't know what they're called, RTM or RM something, where you can install the regular apps. But this,
I will say that the trackpad works really well, man.
I love the pen.
No, the mouse on the iPad. So I've been using my Apple mouse for a few times here and there, and I've been pretty pleased with how the mouse works on the iPad. But when you go to buy one of these, and I don't have the 2020, I bought the 2018 model like 3 or 4 weeks before the 2020 was announced. I bought it refurbished from Apple, so I saved some money too. And I got to say, because there's one reason why I don't even care about the 2020 model, I'm not like disappointed. The new keyboard would work on my iPad if I were so inclined. So the big reason why I don't care is they literally on the A12X processor that they've been putting in the iPads for the last couple of years, they had one of the GPUs disabled. So all they did was enabled one of the GPUs so that way they could re-skew it, and then they called it the A12Z. So this is literally the same CPU. It just has one of the GPU cores that was disabled enabled. Yeah. So let's get the 12-inch, the space gray. They did up the storage. So the smallest storage they have is instead of 528, it's 128. Or I'm sorry, instead of 64, it's 120. Wow, I butchered that, right? Instead of 64, it's 128. And I got the Wi-Fi model. And I got the Apple Care there, and then continue, and then I got the accessories too. So we'll add that to the bag.
RocketMSP engraved.
Yeah, but when you buy it refurbished, you don't get those accessories. And then so I got this, and then I got this. And they do have like little docking stations for it too, which is pretty cool. So I mean, if you review the bag after I added everything to the bag, I mean, that's for the cost effective model. And remember, that's not even the right keyboard. It's $150 more once that other keyboard's launched. And people are going to be like, 128 gigs isn't enough. I want the 1 terabyte model. So, I mean, you could easily get an iPad Pro that costs as much or more. You could spend more on the iPad Pro than you could on a MacBook.
I just ordered a server that was less than that. So.
Yeah. Speaking of servers, if you ever checked out, and like you're not a sponsor or anything, but there's a company called Tech Mike out of New York. So these guys, if you ever wanted to start doing like hardware as a service,
and that is on my my plans here.
So these guys, what they do is they sell like refurbished servers, and if you're offering it hardware as a service, who cares? You're the one that's got to warranty the thing. You're going to make sure it doesn't suck for the customer, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. You can get servers for like a few $100, man. So let's pick model. Let's get number of CPUs. See, I don't have any. That doesn't work. What's going on here? Show more.
What was that?
Let's pick like the most expensive looking one I see, $390. So that's an R730.
Make a note here.
2 processors. Let's get let's do
12.
well, I'm thinking, how can I get something cost effective, you know?
Yeah.
So let's get like this 2640 8-core, and let's get 8 memory, and let's have them be 16s. And then we need a RAID controller. And I have not been keeping up on my RAID controllers to know which one I need. Let's assume I can get away with an H730 mini. And then we'll add some SSDs, I hope. That's not a bad price.
No, it's not. I used was it ServerMonkey, or one of them, but they removed all the pricing off their websites. So
SSD SAS, look at that, man.
yeah.
So let's just get this 800 gig new and sealed. I like new and sealed. Then I'll just replicate that on down, all 8 slots. I want my iDRAC. I want 4 gigabit Ethernets. I don't need a PCI Express NIC. I want 2 power supplies. I think I need the 1100. No. I want my bezel. I want my sliding rails. Warranty. Let's extend that warranty out a year. So for $3,700, I mean, this is a pretty awesome. I mean, it's got 800 gig SSDs in it.
How much memory was in that?
8 16 gig chips.
I think Ingram Micro was a R310 when I just priced, and it was about almost 3,000. So,
and you got to keep in mind, I mean, you can just have a 90-day warranty for free.
Yep.
And let's say maybe we don't want all these hard drives.
Oh yeah, this blows that one out, the Ingram one, out the water, which with all the drives and everything else. So.
All right, let's get rid of 4 drives, make it caddy only. So now I'm at 2,200. I mean, it really didn't help save me a whole lot of money getting rid of those drives.
Are these guys pretty responsive? And
I have been really impressed with what I've heard. They don't know how to spell below. We have to replicate the configuration across all drives bellow. But thankfully the servers don't bellow out, you know. And I mean, we can drop this. Let's make these 8 gigs instead. That'll help save some money. I think changing those from 16s to 8s saved me more money, almost as much money as getting rid of 4 drives. Yeah. So I could get rid of these drives, caddy only, boom, and I've got 8 8s. Let's do 4 16s. I'm under 2,000 now.
I'll take it. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, 4 16s, in my opinion, isn't enough for a server because pretty much anything I do is virtualized now. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a single server for a client, you virtualize it because it's so much easier to back up a VM.
It is. I'll put Hyper-V on it or whatever, you know, and put the OS on top of that so I could for disaster recovery or in backups. It's a lot easier to manage.
So
what I'm sure I picked up on some of the episodes, but I just can't remember. What's your backup solution that you use for your clients?
These days, I'm on SolarWinds Backup. I really like it.
I've used it, and it was solid. It just worked. SolarWinds.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm for your basic file type stuff, your Office 365 mailbox. I use the I'm with ShareWeb as my CSP. They have their Acronis Cloud, where you kind of just pay for the space and you can back up your phone or anything else with it. But Veeam, I use Veeam for the more business critical, and then for offsiting to a green cloud. But Veeam just works. So
nice. So I've played with Veeam. I like. Oh man, now the name's gonna escape me. There's that other one that's like Veeam, but a little more cost effective.
Vimbo. What else there? Something like N.
No, I feel like it starts with an A.
Let's see.
Because you're thinking Vembu.
Yeah.
I can't believe the name has escaped me.
Let's see.
Altaro.
Oh yeah.
Altaro, yeah. I've been really impressed by them.
Never got around to really playing with it. So it is. You were impressed with it?
Very much, yeah. Very much. I pretty much do everything with SolarWinds though.
Yeah. No, I did a lot of work for a couple of companies, and they all use SolarWinds Backup, and it's, to be honest with you, it was solid. It was a solid product that worked. What I've done here with my Zoom. Let's see here. I don't want something I have to babysit, and you're fighting with the software more than your solution restores.
Mm-hmm.
I know Lawrence loves Ubiquity, and I install them and I like them, but they're not my favorite to deal with.
Ubiquity is great if you understand it or have a great support system for it. So there's a Ubiquity user group on Facebook. Definitely join that if you're going to use Ubiquity products.
I think where my headache came was with that first generation cloud key was complete garbage. And then when I moved it to HostFi, started managing it through HostFi.
You can make your own hosting.
Yeah, I did. I had them at Amazon, and then I just kind of I was like, I'm a pretty lean shop. I didn't have a lot of time, so I just built that price for Hostify into the clients. And
then here's the other thing. You can go to HostFi or one of those, cloud Ubiquity servers, build, I'm going to call it a master Ubiquity host, and you create all of your clients within there as different locations.
Yeah.
And then you put all the Ubiquity stuff for each client in your Ubiquity, in your cloud host, cloud server, whatever you call the thing anymore. But yeah, you put everything in there, and then you've just got one that you're paying for. You manage all your clients.
I got that. I got one that I can flip through, and that cleared up a lot of the issues. I still have to, for whatever reason, reboot APs more than I like to, but a lot of the more headaches came when that first generation cloud key, which The new one I've heard is a lot better, but I still sell them. I actually HP's new Aruba instant on HPs. I was highly impressed with them. So
for Wi-Fi these days, honestly, I would probably just use Datto APs unless somebody needs something with something a little more robust. Then I might look elsewhere. But I've really liked what Datto's been doing lately.
Yes. Shout out to John Tippett. He's VP of networking over there at Datto. That used to be my boss back in 20 years ago. He's over all that stuff over there. He's done a good job. Yeah, they've got some good stuff. Let me ask you though. You know where they're switching? They have the pricing model now per month.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but I've had a hard time at least selling that to a client.
So in my opinion, when you're selling managed services, I've got this whole pricing calculator that I've built out for members to look at. And with that pricing calculator, I've got all of the costs broken down. Is this a user cost, a device cost, a site cost? So I've got the site costs where I throw in all the networking equipment. And you just revamp, you overhaul the whole network when you go in there for a new client. Get them to sign a 36-month agreement, which means you can then go to Datto and get the subsidized pricing because you can sign the 36-month agreement on the equipment, and then you don't have to pay for, hundreds of dollars of networking equipment. Instead, you get a subsidized price on it. So you put your site costs in there, and then you go to your client and say, or your prospect, I should say, and you say, look, I've got a bunch of costs. I'm going to do all of this stuff for you, and here's how much it's going to cost you per user, with a minimum of X number of users. So that way, even if, let's say they're at 36 users right now, you want to say, well, minimum, I don't know, 25, right? Because once they dip below a certain point, you start losing profit margin. And so that's how I do it. Other companies like to do it where you're actually showing them, I'm charging you this much per computer, this much per user, this much per server, this much per site. And if I'm going to manage these things, here's how much each of those are going to cost. I don't think that either one of those is a right or a wrong way. I think there's many different ways to present your charges to your customers. I just, I do it my way. The most important thing, though, is I truly believe that when you go into a client, you should overhaul their networking equipment, because as part of your fully encompassing security that you're providing to clients, you need to know that they're
inside out.
Their whole office is secure. So you've got your AV, you might have your EDR solution, you probably have your DNS filtering. You should also have the networking equipment that you trust. For me, that networking equipment is Sophos for routing. And then I would probably just, stick with Datto on literally everything else. Once Datto has a reasonably priced router that's able to do all the things that you would expect, a UTM to do, then I would consider using Datto for a UTM device as well. The problem with Datto's UTM devices is they pretty much require you to get the LTE service, and I just don't need it. And that's their thing. They're basically saying, we need you to have guaranteed uptime, and I'm saying, no, I need to have guaranteed security. I don't care about the uptime.
So right when all this hit was me actually going from the consulting mindset to the MSP mindset, was getting everything down, my service offerings, and I've really been impressed with Sophos, with their products and as a MSP partner program.
Sophos is a fantastic product, man.
Yeah, that I was doing Bitdefender. Bitdefender's great too, but I just I really like their. Especially if you do go out and you have I like the firewalls. They're really nice. But before I was SonicWall, FortiGate, and then for your one computer type store that you don't want to spend any money, I used pfSense, Netgate. I put out there.
And I think as long as you're maintaining it, there's nothing wrong with it.
But you're right about as far as ripping out the equipment. A lot of people, I've seen clients get mad about that. It's like, but from my end, I have to know that inside out, to know the equipment to support it faster for you, know the equipment to secure it for you. I can't support every solution out there, and train guys to do it. They might be able to get by, but they're not going to know it, everything inside out. So,
and that's why you need to. That's why you need to basically run the same thing everywhere. You need to have one solution stack. That's your stack. The guys that are like, well, I've got Sophos on these companies, but I'm using Bitdefender over here, and like that's where when you start to create these different silos, and then you're making it harder on yourself just because a company wants to save a few bucks. So yeah, I don't believe in doing that kind of stuff.
Neither. And then if you've ever been around any type of help desk, you get somebody in there green. They're already overwhelmed as it is, and then you show them 6 different solutions, and this other client has 6 different other solutions. Your support goes down. So I don't care the way you do it.
So yeah, you need to have a very thorough security solution. Sell them Microsoft 365 E3, include that. So that way you can make sure all their computers are licensed properly for Windows 10, for Office. They've got their email. Like, just include that in the pricing. That's my motto.
Yep. So I tell you what, I'm definitely going to join back up on the Rocket MSP. The peer group stuff is invaluable. I mean, it's just I did it briefly with another group and enjoyed it. Got a lot out of it. But Steve, I think I'm gonna definitely sign back up over there and check you guys out.
Well, thank you. I look forward to having you back, man. And I do hope that your wife's able to get back to work this year. I don't even know what to tell you.
Like, no, I'm like, I can't wait to go back to work, and I'm like, let's think about maybe something else. Where are you going to go to school?
Yeah. Do you guys have kids?
Yeah, I got a 3-year-old daughter that is my world.
That's great, man.
Everybody was like, girls, she's going to have you wrapped. I was like, no.
Absolutely. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, as soon as she was born, as soon as she cried, I've been wrapped ever since. So.
Well, you know why they're so cute, right?
What's that?
When they're so tiny like that, they're so cute because their only job in life right now is to try and kill themselves.
That's right.
Like, if you think about it, like, that is their only job in life until they're about 5. That's all they do is try to kill themselves repeatedly. And they have to be so cute. Otherwise, you're going to be like, well, natural selection. We'll make another, honey.
That was not going to get rich. We'll let them. That's horrible, but it's funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like now's a good time. Now that I've said don't let your kids murder themselves, I feel like now's a great time for us to kind of wrap this up.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to throw out there to people, David?
No, I love. I think the whole networking thing is huge, and everybody can learn from everybody. So feel free to hit me up for anything, and I like to help people if I can. The whole business consulting meetup thing. If anybody has any feedback, or would like to come up with something, feel free to contact me. So.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
I'll see you around on the interwebs.
That's right, my friend. We'll do this again.
Awesome. Take care, everybody.
You too, bud.